All right, so now that we've implemented the create endpoints on our server and hooked up our front end to those endpoints, the next thing we're going to do is write some more endpoints for deleting resources on the server. Okay, so there's going to be two main use cases for this. One is going to be for deleting friends, which is functionality that up until now we have not implemented on our front end even. And the second use case is going to be removing favorites from our application. So let's add those two endpoints now. What we're going to do is say app.delete. Okay, so we're going to be making delete requests for both of these, and we'll also just make a section for our delete endpoints up here, just like we did for create and read. All right, and the first one is going to be for deleting a friend. Now, the path for this is going to be /friends/friend ID. Okay, and that will basically delete the friend with this ID, which our front end will specify. Okay, and the callback for this route is going to look like this. We're going to say request response. We're going to start off by getting the URL parameter up here. So we'll say const friend ID equals request.params. Under that, we're basically going to set our friends array to the original array, but without the friend that has that ID. So what that's going to look like, we're going to say friends equals friends.filter, and we want all of our friends whose ID does not match this friend ID URL parameter. So we'll just say friend, oops, that should be friend there. Friend.id does not equal the friend ID URL parameter. All right, and now that we've updated our friends, we're just going to send those back to the client by saying response.json friends. Okay, and the client will receive an updated array without that friend that was just deleted. All right, pretty straightforward stuff. Next thing, let's allow users to remove favorites. And the way we're going to do that is by saying app.delete. And this is going to be /favorites/friend ID. Okay, and this is just one way of doing it, right? You could include a request body on your delete request as well with the ID of the friend, but this way just makes it a little easier in my opinion. And in here, we're going to say request response. We're going to get the friend ID from the URL parameters like we did above, equals request.params. And under here, we're going to basically remove that ID from our favorites. So we'll say favorites equals favorites.filter. And we want the IDs that are not equal to that friend ID. Okay, remember that favorites is just an array of IDs here. Okay, and just like in our delete friend endpoint, we're just going to send back the updated favorites to our front end by saying response.json favorites. And those are the two endpoints that we need for the time being. So let's test these out using Postman now. I'm going to go back to here, and we're going to try and send a delete request to http localhost 8080/friends. And I guess let's just try and delete friend 123. All right. Let's also remove this request body here. We don't need that right now. And what we'll do is click send. And it looks like we got an error. So let's go take a look. And oh, it looks like JavaScript isn't letting us modify this friends thing since we're importing it from another file. So what we can do in order to make this work is just clear out our friends array here. And I'm just going to do that like this. I'm just going to say while friends.length is greater than 0. Friends.pop. Okay, so that will clear our array, and essentially we just want to get our new friends. So what we'll do is say new friends. We'll put that up above here. And after we've cleared out our friends array, we'll just say friends.push, and we'll insert our new friends into there. Okay, so that should work, and let's see if that little error goes away now. So let's click on send. Oops, it looks like new friends is not defined. Const new friends. There we go. Let's try this again. All right, click on send, and sure enough, it looks like that worked. All right, so that removed that friend from our friends array in the database. So let's do the same thing with favorites. We're going to need to make a little change there, just like we did here. And there are other ways of doing this too, by the way, but this is just the first way that came to mind. So we'll change this to new favorites equals. We're going to put this down here. And we'll clear out favorites. So we'll say while favorites.length is greater than 0, favorites.pop. And then we'll say favorites.push new favorites. Okay. And then we'll send those new favorites, or well, just the updated favorites array, back to the client. So it is a little bit janky to do it this way, and we are going to be replacing this with an actual database later on, so don't worry too much about it. It's just a little quirk that happens when you import things from other files. JavaScript doesn't like you reassigning those. So anyway, our app should be working now. Let's try removing a favorite. And in order to test that, we actually have to have a favorite in the first place, so we're going to need to add one. So we're going to send a post request to our add favorites endpoint, which is /favorites. For the request body, we're going to say friend ID, and we'll add, well, since we removed friend 123, let's add friend 234 to our favorites, I suppose. So we'll say 234. Got to put double quotes around these things since it's JSON, and let's try adding that to our favorites. Okay, so we have friend 234 in our favorites now. Let's try removing them. So what we'll do, go to delete. We want to say /favorites/234. Click send, and we should see an empty array. Cool, so it looks like our two delete endpoints are working. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.